my 6-year tenure at the helm of the IEBC. As I look forward to my exit from office tomorrow, I will share my reflections of that journey as chairman of the commission. I was appointed in office on the 18th of January 2017, and we took the oath of office on 20th of the same month. In the oath of office, I swore to obey, respect, and uphold the Constitution and all the laws of the Republic, that I would faithfully and fully, impartially, and to the best of my ability discharge the trust and perform the functions and exercise of powers devolving upon me by virtue of the appointment without fear, favor, bias, affection, ill will, or prejudice. And the last sentence, I asked God to help me remain true to this oath. I joined the commission that I had been appointed along with me with the other commissioners who were 7 to oversee the conduct of the 2017 general election that was less than 7 months away. We had very limited time to understand the infrastructure of the election and architecture of the commission. Additionally, the processes had already been concluded by the previous commission, and there was no time to make any major reviews or adjustments. We conducted the 2017 general election that was nullified, and we held a fresh presidential election as ordered by the Supreme Court on the 23rd of October 2017. And the results of that fresh presidential election were upheld by the Supreme Court in a subsequent petition that was filed. As it will be recalled, one commissioner resigned before the fresh presidential election, and 3 others followed shortly after. And those were very difficult moments as we were just left, the 3 of us. But we had taken an oath of office, and we could not falter on that oath. We had a duty to this country to start preparing for the 2022 general election. And second, we had a responsibility to ensure the preservation of the commission with its long-tested experience in election management that had created a large body of technical competence and practical knowledge that drives its preparation and conduct of elections. So drawing from the Supreme Court decision, drawing from our experiences in the general election and the fresh presidential election of 2017, we set on the journey to prepare and make sure that the 2022 election is successful. We prepared a strategic plan 2020 to 2024. We came up with the election operation plan, which provided a roadmap for implementation. And during this journey, I must mention a few achievements which we leave behind and hope that the incoming commission will build on those achievements. Over the last 6 years, we have conducted a number of activities, and some of the notable achievements are when we came in the commission, we found the commission was being managed under 17 regions as had been demarcated by the commission in the country. But we said, as a commission, in line with devolution, we must set up county election offices, and so we set up 47 county election offices. And then these county election officers have been a success story. We have 47 county election managers who oversee the activities of the commission in the constituencies within those counties. And so we have 47 county election managers and then senior election officers in the 290 constituencies who form an increased permanent staff of the IEBC, which to date stands at about 1,000. We also found an institution which did not have policies and procedures, and so we set on a journey to develop various policy manuals and standard operating procedures to address systemic challenges within the commission systems and operations. All the directorates now have policies and manuals, and as we leave the commission, we urge the incoming commission to build on these policies and manuals, revise them where need be, But these documents are the ones that have guided us to operate and manage the 2022 general elections. They provide clear operational and administrative procedures for effective governance and streamlining of the Commission's activities. One of the areas we also came up with was drafting legislations and some bills to Parliament. Although most of these bills have not been looked at, and I'm happy, Honorable Deputy Speaker and my learned friends, you are here, and the Attorney General is being here. We drafted Referendum Bill 2020, IEBC Amendment Bill 2020, Election Campaign Financing Amendment Bill, and Election Laws Amendment. These bills are still lying in the House, and we urge the Parliament, please look at them and at least prepare them so that this Commission can have better legal framework for the next election. It's good manners internationally that election laws need to be passed at least 2 years before elections, or at worst 1 year before elections, to avoid the last minute rush. So we hope this time round we have the 13th Parliament, which I'm sure should look at these bills and pass the necessary amendments to the election law, at least 2 years or at least 1 year before elections, so that the Commission can prepare adequately for the 2027 elections. Among the key things we did was voter registration. We had an additional 2.743498 new registered voters and expanded the diaspora voting to additional countries to make a total number of 12. The Commission subjected the register to audit and cleaning up, and the final voters register was 22,120,458,000, which gave us 46,229 polling stations. This Commission in 2022 reduced the cost of election as compared to 2017. We actually reused the technology that we deployed in elections. We only bought 14,000 new KIMS kits, but reused the old ones. We did early procurement, although we did not have funding until the last election year, but we did early procurement by entering into framework contracts with various suppliers and negotiated better rates for some of the materials, strategic materials. For example, ballot papers in 2017 we were paying about 150 shillings per ballot paper, but in 2022 we pay 25 shillings per ballot paper. So the cost of elections was reduced, but it cannot come down tremendous because we must rely on technology, and technology is expensive. And also our legal framework is what drives the cost of elections, where we must have a certain number of polling stations, not exceeding 700 voters per polling station. So as a Commission, we also said we must print sufficient ballot papers. We printed ballot papers equivalent to the number of registered voters. This then served two purposes. One, reduced the cost. Number two, it eliminated avenues that provide opportunity for electoral malpractice like multiple voting or ballot stuffing. So we just had enough ballot papers, and of course we also, in an area where there's no possibility of eliminating possibility of malpractice, we strictly identified voters using biometric voter identification system and using only the printed register. Manual register was deployed in a few areas where technology failed. Transmission of results, we only transmitted the image of result from 34A using the results transmission system from polling station to the national tallying center and constituency tallying center. We deploying a secure public portal where election results from 34A, 34B, and 34C were hosted for the nation and the world to access. A record 386 million logins were reported to the portal, and those that tallied the results got the same results as the IEBC result in Form 34C. This was the game changer in the elections and elevated the aspect of transparency to a whole new world level. The representative from the National Police Service has mentioned our collaboration. Indeed, we came up with a program of collaboration, National Police Service, the Election Security Arrangement Program, and the trained police officers on election management. This arrangement is good. It has to continue for purposes of managing elections and peace in the country. I'm pleased to report that the Commission and National Police Service worked harmoniously well, save in a few isolated incidents at tallying centers. The Commission also developed 17 election manuals that were used in training staff and other stakeholders like judiciary, political parties, and the media. These trainings gave stakeholders a clear understanding of the election process to engage in various areas related to elections. We collaborated with the media, Kenya Media Sector Working Group, to enhance transparency and ensure a quick flow of information in election reporting to the public. IEBC also had a MOU signed between Editors Guild and the Kenya Media Sector Working Group, and 600 journalists were trained on areas related to elections for accurate reporting of election results. At the Bomas of Kenya, we had the Media Center, which hosted local and international media, and we also had a media consortium which was formed. And the expected outcome was that the media would tally results and announce. Even after having done all this, the media had no impact on the journey to tell you results, but never announced. I think it's only one media house that posted results on the website, which were equal to the results which was announced by the Commission. The achievements are many. Because of time, I will move on to a few challenges because I know our chief guest needs to make his speech. The Commission, in the course of achieving all these milestones I've mentioned, of course, has encountered a number of challenges. As a country, we need to be alive from where we sit as a Commission, that these challenges are many, but I'll just highlight a few. One of the biggest challenges sitting as an election manager is the highly ethnicized and divisive politics in Kenya. The combination of highly competitive elections and negative ethnicity in Kenya's politics always leads to divisive elections that often results in poll violence. Ethnicity is often the main currency of competitive elections and is habitually mutates into conflicts between dominant competing ethnic tribes, thus undermining national unity, security, and stability. Such divisive elections have always led to enormous political pressure being applied on the Commission, as commissioners and staff of IEBC are always subject to ethnic profiling during campaigns and public rallies, making them insecure and susceptible to attacks. Although the challenges posed by highly competitive politics and negative ethnicity are recognized by all stakeholders in Kenya, there has never been a deliberate effort to conclusively deal with the issue. Instead, symptomatic treatment such as disbandment of the Commission has been routinely undertaken every election cycle. It's time as a nation that we had a candid discussion on the electoral system that the country should adopt to suit the circumstances of our country's political anatomy. I've mentioned the issue about late enactment of laws. This is a challenge, and I believe Parliament should take up this challenge. that election laws be enacted at least 1 year before the elections. Another big challenge we have as we leave the commission, and stakeholders in this room should take note, is that the commission is expected to be funded within the 5 and we normally as a commission, we urge stakeholders in the process and executive to ensure that a commission has timely funding throughout the electoral cycle. But more importantly, we have the IEBC fund, which is provided for in Section 18 of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission Act. This fund needs to be actualized so that the commission gets its funding at the beginning of each financial year so as to be able to deliver on its mandate. Well, I'll say one more thing that we saw during the last election. The Constitution of Kenya 2010, Article 88, lays great emphasis on the independence of the Commission, both in decision-making as well as operations. Despite these clear legal provisions, attempts are always made to undermine the independence of the Commission during elections. The 2022 general elections witnessed probably the gravest attempts to usurp the independence of the Commission and the sovereign will of the people of Kenya as expressed in the polls. These attempts took the form of ethnic profiling and open threatening of some members of the Commission and staff, arrest and holding communicators of Commission staff and service providers without lawful basis, abduction and illegal detention of staff and service providers by state security, attack and assault of some members of the Commission, staff and service providers by goons and law enforcement agents at the Bomas of Kenya and at some county and constituency tallying centers, abduction and murder of a constituency returning officer, intimidation of the Commission by some members of the National Security Advisory Council to moderate results which goes against the will of the people. The gravity of these attempts to subvert the will of the people cannot be wished away or swept under the carpet because they might re-emerge in the future. For this reason, the Commission wrote to the President of the Republic of Kenya requesting for a public inquiry in respect of the process leading to the declaration of the final results at the Bomas of Kenya. The outcome of the inquiry, we believe, will bolster the independence of the Commission and ensure that it maintains the stature contemplated by the Constitution. It will also enable a future election environment devoid of harassment, intimidation, profiling, and harm of Commission staff while discharging their duties. It will also ensure that institutions that support the Commission during elections discharge their duties and responsibilities in accordance with the law and not as directed by individuals with partisan interest hell-bent on subverting the will of the people. As we finalize our term in the Commission, we must say that one of the biggest threats to the Commission is misinformation and disinformation. We have seen misinformation or spread of false incorrect statements or facts in a political environment is a recipe for tension, unrest, and chaos. And in Kenya, just like in other jurisdictions, misinformation is the latest and probably the greatest threat to democracy. False accusations have the potential to cause violent conflict, orders leveled against the Commission's conduct of elections by political players. In most instances, no action is taken against authors of these remarks as they are considered to enjoy freedom of speech. Yet and create an otherwise free, fair, and credible election. It is surprising that despite remarkable enhancement of checks to guarantee integrity of the electoral process, the old notion that elections are stolen or rigged still pervades our political rhetoric. It's even grave that misinformation and disinformation is unashamedly presented in our hallowed courts as evidence during election petitions. There's need for action to draw the line between free speech and misleading statements, and I'm happy that a few institutions charged with that responsibility in this House today, and I hope this will be taken up in future. In conclusion, the tenure of myself and the two commissioners comes to an end on 17 January 2023. We have made our fair share of contribution towards strengthening democracy in Kenya. We hold that the August 2022 election, whose presidential results were held by the Supreme Court, were free, fair, credible, transparent, and impartial elections. This could not have been achieved without strict adherence to the corporate governance structure of the Commission and its guiding legal regime. The Commission, as established and mandated by the Constitution of Kenya and IEBC Act, has clear roles, duties, responsibilities of its members and staff. Pursuant to this provision, the Commission also has structures, including plenary meetings, committee meetings, and other corporate governance structures. The Commission is not devoid of corporate governance. We have full structures in place, and we believe with the legal amendments that may come up in Parliament, this Commission can only grow stronger. It's therefore incumbent upon the Commission and staff to conform to this corporate governance model, to adhere to the rule of law and fidelity to the Constitution. To act in any other manner is tantamount to straying into forbidden territories of breaching the objectives of the Commission, and these objectives are shared with other constitutional commissions and independent offices, protecting the sovereignty of the people, securing observance of all state organs of democratic values and principles, and promoting constitutionalism. For that's why we were created. This launch marks my last duty as the chairman of the Commission. I exceed a very contented man, and I say we gave it our best. We charted and weathered the storms that threatened the existence of the Commission. We endured relentless fatigue in our preparation for election. We mastered high courage to overcome perils of democracy, and we delivered the sacred will of the people of Kenya. We believe the pace has been set, and I take this opportunity to wish our successors all the best as they pick the baton from us to take the elections of this country to the next level. I wish to acknowledge the assistance we have been accorded by our development partners, that includes the direct support of UNDP, led deepening democracy programs with the membership of European Union, United Kingdom, the Republic of Germany, Republic of Italy, and Republic of Ireland. We also appreciate various initiatives by USAID. Finally, I thank the people of Kenya for this opportunity to serve you the last 6 years. I equally, with abiding respect, have loud resolve to vote peacefully, the resolve you made as people of Kenya to vote peacefully during this election. It's a gift that I will cherish